The scream fractures the heat the way monsoon thunder splits the Tucson sky. 1 second, there's barbecue smoke drifting over Reed Park. Paper crowns tilted on teenagers' heads, a Bluetooth speaker fighting the cicadas. The next, a blade of sound cuts through the laughter and every muscle in my body learns a new kind of fear. I'm Erin Hale, and by the time my cup hits the grass, I'm already running. A mother's radar locking onto the changing tent pitched just off the picnic ramada. The nylon flap beats in the wind like a trapped bird. Inside, the air is too dim, too still. Maya is on her knees, arms wrapped around her stomach, her mouth open but soundless now, as if the scream took everything she had and then some. Her hair, 18 years of trims and teenage experiments, lies in dark spirals across the tarp. The top of her scalp is patchy, raw, shining where the light leaks through the canvas seams. Camille stands 3 feet away in a floral dress, fingers stiff, cheeks flushed. On the folding table beside her, a pair of clippers hums with a sleepy, guilty buzz. It's the sound of a barbershop after hours, wrong and intimate. For a moment, my brain misfiles what I'm seeing, reaches for logic that will make this make sense. A prank gone sideways, a dare, a misunderstanding. Then Maya's hands climb her own face like she's trying to hold it together, and the smell of cut hair hits me warm, metallic, almost electric. "What did you do?" My voice lands in pieces, each piece heavier than the last. Camille's jaw tilts, that arched half-smile she uses when she wants to skip consequences. "It's a joke," she says, like we are all children and she is the camp counselor who knows the twist ending. She'll laugh about it later. The laugh she gives me is paper thin. My hand moves before the rest of me can vote. The slap cracks the tent. Camille's head snaps to the side and the clippers wobble, rattling against the table leg until I yank the extension cord from the outlet and kill the sound. I kneel into the river of hair and gather my daughter. She is shaking, small in a way she hasn't been since 2nd grade, when a bee landed on her lip and she refused to cry. "We're leaving," I tell her, and that's enough for her to climb to her feet. Outside, sun explodes, and with it, relatives turn into statues. Plates wobble in slow motion. A rib slides off a paper plate and slaps the concrete like punctuation. Somewhere a cousin says, "Oh my God," and then turns into 3 syllables. My sister follows, a step behind us, talking faster now, insisting, reaching without touching. "Bastard child," my mother spits, not loud but sharp enough to snag us as we pass. The words hit in a place I have boarded up for years. They do not stop my feet. I keep moving. The asphalt radiates a heat you can taste. I unlock the car, shove open the back door, and Maya folds into the seat with a sound that isn't crying and isn't speaking. A sound only the body makes when it needs the world to stop. Camille's voice threads through the park noise. "Erin, wait." Her sandals slap the pavement, and for a second I see us from above, 2 women chasing and fleeing. A girl curled like a comma, a family frozen around a rented grill. I don't turn. I slide into the driver's seat, jam the key, and the engine coughs awake. My hands are shaking so hard the keys sing against the column, a little bright chime that feels obscene. Through the windshield I catch my mother's face, pinched, triumphant, terrified. I drop the shifter into drive, and the tires tick over the speed bumps, 1, 2, 3, like a countdown that has nothing to do with forgiveness. At the edge of the park, the light changes. The sky goes the color of copper as the sun tilts toward Aho Way, and in the visor mirror my daughter's new outline is a ghost I don't know how to hold. I signal anyway. Signal, check, turn. Like the ritual might stitch this day back into something survivable. Only when we hit Broadway do I breathe. By the time we reach home, the sweat has dried into a salt collar on my neck. I set the deadbolt with a force that shakes the frame. Silence expands and then pops. Maya heads straight for the bathroom and closes the door. Not a slam, but a statement. I stand in the hallway and feel the house absorbing our heat, learning our new shape. Later, I will interrogate the choice that crawled into my sister's hands and made itself real, the way some family histories break surface like desert bones after a storm. For now, all I have is the image of hair on a tarp and a mother's mouth saying a name that doesn't belong to my child. The morning sun slants through the blinds, striping the living room in pale golden shadow. I haven't slept. Coffee sits untouched, black as a desert highway at midnight. Maya is wrapped in a blanket on the couch, her head tilted away from mirrors, her eyes swollen from crying. The air between us feels like a broken violin string too tight, ready to snap. Then Camille arrives, knocking once before letting herself in like she's still welcome. She carries her phone in her hand, screen glowing. Her face is pale, hair pulled into a tight bun, as if discipline could disguise guilt. "You need to see this," she says, her voice pitched somewhere between plea and defiance. Against every instinct, I take the phone. What fills the screen steals the last of my breath. Photos. Bruises on Maya's arms, purple and ringed, shaped unmistakably like fingers pressing too hard. Another photo, her ribs, blotched with fresh marks, the kind you don't get from soccer practice or bumping into a locker. Maya shifts under the blanket, pulling the fabric tighter around her shoulders. "It's true," she whispers, her voice raw. "He's been doing it for months." My chest tightens, fury and shame swirling like storm clouds. Camille explains she saw Logan behind the high school gym, his hands rough on Maya, his mouth bent close in threat. "She wouldn't tell you, Aaron. So Her words collapse under their own weight. The haircut wasn't a prank. It was her crude way of halting Maya's plans to meet him again. A warning cut into flesh and pride. Derek, my husband, comes through the front door just then, tie loosened from a night at the bank. He stops, reading the room without a word. When he sees the photos, his face hardens. "I knew it," he mutters. Then, almost too quietly, "I should have told you." The silence that follows is heavier than anything we've lived through together. Derek admits he saw a mark on Maya's neck 2 weeks earlier. He cornered Logan in the high school parking lot, shoving him against his car, warning him to back off. But Derek didn't tell me, didn't tell anyone. He thought he could fix it with threats, that a father's anger might shield his daughter. Now the consequence sits in Maya's downcast eyes. She rocks gently, her hands fidgeting with the edge of the blanket. She confesses what we should have seen sooner. Logan's control had grown sharper since spring. It started with subtle things, what she wore, who she spoke to, then escalated into bruises hidden beneath long sleeves in Tucson's summer heat. He told her if she ever spoke up, she'd lose everything, friends, reputation, even us. She believed him. My heart is a storm surge. I reach for Maya's hand and she doesn't pull away. Derek paces, fists clenching and unclenching, his shoulders tight as rebar. He wants to break something, maybe himself for failing her. "Why didn't you say anything?" he asks, voice cracking. Maya's answer is a shrug heavy with years she hasn't lived yet. "He said no one would believe me." The weight of that sentence is more than personal. It's social. Statistics rattle in my mind like coins in a jar. 1 in 3 teens in the U.S. experiences dating violence, but fewer than a third ever tell anyone. Fear of judgment, fear of not being believed, fear of retaliation, these are the chains that silence. In Latino neighborhoods on Tucson's south side, I've read, girls sometimes vanish from school rolls with whispers about boyfriends too rough, but no one wants to call it abuse. Silence is inherited like a family recipe. And here it was, in my own house, wrapped in a blanket. Camille sinks into a chair, her phone now dim. For once she isn't smirking. "I shaved her head because he was obsessed with her hair," she says quietly. "He bragged about pulling it, wrapping it around his fist. I thought if she didn't have it, maybe he'd stop." Her logic is jagged, desperate, but not entirely cruel. She acted out of panic, not malice. Still, she crossed a line no one had the right to cross. Derek stops pacing. He looks at Camille like she's a stranger who walked into our lives by mistake. "You should have told us," he says, "but I know blame is a weak substitute for action. Evidence matters more than guilt." I take Camille's phone again, email the photos to myself, and begin a file, screenshots, dates, everything that will matter when this story leaves our walls. Maya's voice cuts the silence. "He'll be mad when he finds out," she says, trembling. She isn't wrong. Boys like Logan don't fade quietly. They push, they retaliate, they twist the truth until it fits in their fists. But fear isn't going to drive this family anymore. We'll drive it ourselves. The desert light brightens, searing through the blinds. My decision is already made. We are past secrets and shame. We are in the territory of survival. The knock comes after midnight, not the polite rap of a neighbor but the pounding of someone who believes the door already belongs to him. Each strike shakes the frame. Derek and I exchange a glance. Our daughter curled on the couch, clutching a pillow like it's the only raft on a sinking ship. I move toward the door, heart hammering. Through the peephole, The porch light carves Logan's face into angles of rage. He isn't a boy here. He looks older, dangerous, his jaw set like stone. I open only a crack, the security chains stretched taut. "You need to leave," I tell him, steady as I can manage. Logan leans in, the light catching sweat on his forehead. Why isn't Maya answering my calls? His voice is slick, practiced indignation. He smells of smoke and cheap beer, though he's barely 18. "She doesn't want to see you," I answer, trying to shut the door. But he jams his sneaker against the threshold, forcing the wood back. "Don't believe Camille's lies," he spits. "Those bruises? From a hike. She tripped. Ask anyone." His eyes dart, searching for cracks in my conviction. Behind me, Maya peers around the corner, her face pale as the moonlight slipping through the blinds. "Go home, Logan," she says, voice trembling. He ignores her. He steps inside like he owns the floor beneath his feet. "You're dramatic, babe," he sneers. "We're fine. They just don't get us." Derek comes down the stairs, each step heavy. His shoulders fill the hallway, his jaw clenched like a man ready to fight a wildfire with bare hands. He plants himself between Logan and me. "Back out that door," he says, low and controlled. Logan laughs, but it's thin. He pulls out his phone, thumb already swiping. "You want to threaten me again, old man?" He hits play, and the hallway fills with Derek's voice, captured weeks ago in a parking lot, growling, "If you touch her again, I'll end you." The audio is clear, damning without context. Logan waves it like a sword. "My dad's a lawyer. You think a judge won't eat this up?" "Assault. Threats you'll go down before I do." Derek's face drains of color. I feel the floor tilt. But fear is only fuel. I grab my own phone, lift it high, and hit record. "Keep talking," I tell him. "Show us who you really are." The red circle glows, a small shield but real. Logan's smirk twitches. He lunges toward me, but Derek blocks him, chest to chest, pushing him back a step. The sound of bodies colliding in our hallway echoes too loudly. Maya whimpers, clutching the pillow tighter. Neighbors' lights blink on outside, one by one, curious eyes behind blinds. The desert night has a way of carrying sound farther than you want, turning private chaos into public theater. Logan notices. His bravado falters. Still, he tries one last weapon mockery. "No one believes girls like her over me," he jeers, pointing at Maya. "My family runs this town." Maya's tears streak down her cheeks, but she finds a voice. "Stop." She shakes her head, defiant despite the tremor. "I'm not going with you." For a flicker, Logan softens, as if he might beg instead of bully. He whispers promises, dangling apologies like baited hooks. But I pull Maya back, my body between them, and slam the door. The chain rattles. Logan curses, fists hitting the glass once, twice. Then silence, broken by the roar of his truck tires screeching into the night. Inside, the air is jagged. Derek paces, fists tight, replaying the confrontation in his head. "That recording," he mutters. "He'll use it." His fear is real, but so is our resolve. I set my phone on the counter. The new recording, a red ember in the dark. Proof matters, patterns matter. We triple-check the locks, sliding every bolt, closing every blind. The night outside feels endless, stars sharp against the black. Maya curls into me on the couch, her breath shaky but alive. I stroke her hair, what's left of it, promising silently that this isn't where the story ends. It's where it changes shape. Boundaries matter. Escalation is real. But silence is surrender. And we are done surrendering. Tomorrow, there will be police reports and hospital visits. Tonight, there is survival, and survival is enough. By sunrise, my resolve has crystallized. The desert light spills across our kitchen table, painting the file I've started. Camille's photos, my recording of Logan, Maya's whispered words scribbled in my own frantic handwriting. This isn't just family drama anymore, it's evidence. At 9 a.m., we're at the Tucson Police Department's Family Violence Unit. The waiting room hums with the low murmur of people who wish they weren't there. Posters line the walls, love shouldn't hurt. Teen dating abuse is real. Maya sits beside me, her blanket traded for a hoodie 2 sizes too big, sleeves pulled over her hands. Detective Carla Nguyen calls us in. She's in her 40s, her dark hair pulled tight, her eyes sharp but not unkind. She listens as I unravel everything: the scream at the park, Camille's clippers, the bruises, the midnight pounding at our door. Carla jots notes but mostly watches Maya, letting her speak when she's ready. When the photos appear on Carla's desk, her expression hardens. "You did the right thing bringing this in," she says. "We'll need a medical exam to document these injuries officially. It'll help if this goes to court." So we drive next to Banner University Medical Center. The desert sun glares on the windshield like a relentless witness. Inside, the fluorescent lights are too clean, too sterile. A doctor in blue scrubs measures each bruise, pressing gently until Maya flinches. He notes the tenderness, the pattern of fingers. A nurse photographs every angle, each click of the camera an entry in the growing record of what Logan has done. Maya winces but doesn't cry. She stares at the ceiling tiles, counting, I imagine, to stay still. "Has this been ongoing?" the doctor asks gently. Maya nods, voice trembling. "Since spring. It started small, grabbing during fights. Then worse." The words hang heavy, confirmed as abuse by the doctor's calm but firm tone. He recommends counseling. My throat burns as I sign discharge papers. Guilt sticks like tar. How did I miss this? Back home, the weight of the day presses down. Then a knock on the door startles me. It's Evan Flores, our neighbor who runs the flower shop on Broadway. She heard Logan's truck screeching off last night. "I've seen him with her before," she says, voice careful but steady. "Behind the gym. Too rough. I didn't know if I should say something, but I want to help." Her statement is another piece of the puzzle, another witness who saw what we didn't. I thank her, adding her account to the file. But the day has one more blow. My mother, Ruth, arrives unannounced. Her eyes are swollen, her voice gravel. "Please," she whispers, "give your sister a way to live." I stare at her, confused. "Camille's not the one in danger, Mom. Maya Island." But Ruth shakes her head. She looks like someone carrying a stone too heavy for too long. Then she drops it. "Camille isn't just my sister. She's my mother's daughter from before she married my father. A secret hidden for decades." My stomach lurches, rewinding every moment of rivalry, every sharp word between us. Camille wasn't just reckless. She was carrying her own fractured inheritance. Ruth pleads again. She shaved Maya's head to protect her. Out of love. Don't ruin her life with this police mess. My fury ignites. Protect? By stripping my daughter of dignity in front of her friends? By keeping secrets instead of telling the truth? My voice cuts sharper than I intended. Amber's safety, I stop, correct myself. Maya's safety comes first. Camille made her choices. Now we're making ours. Honestly dozen with things. Ruth's eyes flash with betrayal. She accuses me of tearing the family apart. But as she storms out, I know the family cracked years ago. This is just the echo breaking open. That night, Derek and I sit at the table, papers spread between us. His tie hangs loose, his face drawn. "We should have acted sooner," he admits, eyes on the bruises frozen in photographs. I agree, but hold firm. Regret can't rewrite yesterday. Evidence can change tomorrow. I call Detective Nguyen with Evan's statement, attaching the hospital report by email. She answers immediately, her voice clipped but encouraging. "Good. This builds the case." Upstairs, Maya sketches in her notebook, her pencil scratching steady rhythms against the page. She finds peace in lines and shadows, her world made manageable on paper. I watch her, vowing she'll never have to shrink herself again just to feel safe. The house feels different that night. Not lighter, not yet, but structured. As if the locks we checked and the files we built have begun to stitch a wall between us and the storm. A fragile wall, maybe. But one strong enough to face what comes next. Threats arrive faster than sunrise. The phone rings at 7 a.m. And I know before I pick it up whose voice waits on the other side. Marshall Price, Logan's father, speaks with the clipped precision of a man who's spent too many hours in courtrooms. He doesn't shout, he doesn't need to. His tone is sharpened steel. "Drop this," he says, "or I'll bury your husband with that audio recording." He references Derek's parking lot confrontation like a trump card, confident it will outweigh bruises, photographs, hospital records. My pulse surges, but I force calm into my voice. "We have evidence," I tell him. "Photos, medical documentation, witnesses." He chuckles, a sound that drips with arrogance. No jury in Pima County is siding with a teenage girl over my son. When I hang up, My hand shakes so badly the receiver clatters back into place. Within hours, a social worker arrives. Monica Ruiz from Child Protective Services introduces herself with a clipboard under one arm and a calm efficiency that feels rehearsed. She explains it's a routine follow-up whenever police reports mention minors. Maya sits with her in the living room, answering carefully. "Do you feel safe at home?" Monica asks. Maya nods, fingers worrying the seam of her sleeve. "They're the only ones keeping me safe." Satisfied, Monica speaks to us privately in the kitchen. "You're doing the right things," she assures. "But she needs therapy as soon as possible. Trauma leaves fingerprints you can't always see." I schedule a session before she even leaves. But safety at home doesn't extend to school. Rumors spread like wildfire, twisting facts into gossip. By lunch, Maya is whispered about in hallways, her shaved head a beacon for cruelty. Some students mutter that she faked her bruises for attention. One boy, Jake, a friend of Logan's, slips a folded note into her locker. It reads, "He just wants to talk. Give him a chance." Maya tears it into shreds but comes home trembling. I gather the scraps, photograph them, email the evidence to Detective Nguyen. She replies quickly, "We'll add it to the harassment file." The following morning, I walk Maya into school myself. The stairs are sharper than cactus spines. A girl mutters, "Drama queen," as we pass. My fists clench, but the counselor, Diane Torres, meets us at the office. She promises to escort Maya between classes, to monitor hallways, to act as an anchor in a sea of hostility. "We've had complaints about Logan's crew before," she admits, her tone weary but firm. "We're taking this seriously now." Back at home, Derek can't stop pacing. He checks his phone every 5 minutes, waiting for updates from Nguyen, worrying over Marshall's threats. His fear isn't unfounded. The audio clip of him growling in that parking lot could be twisted into a narrative where he's the aggressor. "It'll ruin us," he mutters. "They'll paint me as violent." I touch his arm, grounding him. Our evidence is stronger. Maya's bruises, her words, Evan's testimony. We'll hold. Then Detective Nguyen calls with a development that flips my stomach. The pills found in Logan's truck have been tested. Sedatives, illegal. The kind predators slip into drinks. Worse, Jake has confessed under questioning. Logan asked him to spike cups at a party. My hand tightens around the phone, imagining how close Maya came to swallowing a betrayal she might not have woken from. Nguyen's voice stays steady, but her words slice through me. He planned to incapacitate her. Fear crawls up my spine, but beneath it, resolve burns hotter. We change Maya's phone number that evening, cutting off Logan's back channels. She avoids social media, sketching instead, pages filling with bold desert landscapes. I sit beside her, listening as she describes feeling like everyone is against her. They whisper, "Mom." They look at me like I'm broken. I tell her she isn't broken. She's brave. Survivors aren't defined by scars but by the fight to heal. Later that night, a bouquet appears at our door, Evan Flores again, offering flowers and solidarity. "People are talking," she says, "but not everyone's against you. Some neighbors are proud you're standing up." Her words stitch a small patch of hope into an otherwise frayed week. Still, the shadow of the Price family stretches long. Their reputation, their wealth, their certainty that power is protection, it all presses against us like desert heat. But we are gathering shade. Counselors, neighbors, detectives, evidence. For the first time, I feel the scales beginning to tip. Detective Nguyen's call comes on a Tuesday afternoon, the kind of day when the desert heat makes even the cicadas too tired to sing. Her tone is sharp, almost electric. We searched Logan's truck again. Found a bag of pills under the passenger seat. Lab confirmed. Sedatives. Strong ones. I grip the counter, my knuckles whitening. She doesn't need to explain further. These weren't recreational. They were tools, weapons dressed as medicine. Later that evening, Nguyen stops by in person, a folder under her arm. She lays the evidence on our kitchen table. Photos of amber bottles without labels. A written statement from Jake. He's flipped, terrified. He admitted Logan pressured him to spike drinks at an upcoming afterparty. He confessed Logan bragged that if Maya was unconscious, she couldn't make drama. My stomach twists. The thought that my daughter came that close to being drugged and discarded freezes my lungs. Maya sits across from us, her hoodie pulled over her head. She listens, then whispers. "He told me once I was too loud when I cried." said he wished I would just sleep. Tears well in her eyes, and I realize those words were never metaphor. They were rehearsal. Derek clenches his fists. His breathing is uneven, the veins on his temples raised. I should have ended it that night in the parking lot, he mutters. I should have. He doesn't finish. Guilt is a poison that men drink when they think violence could have solved everything. But evidence, not fists, is what builds cases. I put my hand on his arm. We'll finish this in court, not in the street. Nguyen nods, approving. You're doing the right thing, Aaron. Paper beats fists when it's done right. She explains Arizona's statutes around controlled substances, how possession with intent carries severe penalties. She tells us to stay vigilant. Logan may retaliate, but every step we take strengthens the file. I make copies of everything: texts, photos, witness statements. Our dining room has turned into a war room. Piles of manila folders stacked beside the salt and pepper shakers. Then Camille calls. Her number flashes on my phone, and for a moment I want to let it ring into silence. But something in me answers. Her voice is shaky, drained of its usual sharpness. I have something you need to see, she says. An hour later, she's at our door, holding out her phone like a confession. It's a video she recorded secretly at the park, the day of Maya's party. Shaky footage, voices overlapping. But one voice is clear, Logan's. He's laughing with Jake, bragging about spiking drinks, about shutting her up for good. The video isn't perfect. The angle shows only shadows. The audio fuzzes when the wind cuts in. But the words are undeniable. It's another brick in the wall we're building against him. I save the clip twice, uploading one copy to the cloud. Camille sits stiffly in the living room, avoiding Derek's stare. I wanted to protect her, she insists. That's why I shaved her head. He was obsessed with it. I thought if she looked different, maybe. Her logic collapses under its own weight. Protection by humiliation is still betrayal. But tonight, her evidence speaks louder than her excuses. After she leaves, Maya looks at me with eyes too old for 18. Do you believe her? She asks. I exhale slowly. I believe she caught him. I don't believe shaving your head was the only way. Maya nods, silent, as if she has long ago learned the complexity of family lies. That night, I sit at the table long after Derek and Maya have gone to bed. The desert wind rattles the windows, carrying the faint scent of mesquite. In front of me is a spread of papers, photographs, USB drives, and notes scribbled in my handwriting. It looks less like a mother's kitchen and more like a prosecutor's office. Philosophy threads through my thoughts. Predators thrive in silence, and communities that look away are complicit. Our silence ended the night of the scream. Since then, every record, every photo, every witness is a nail sealing Logan's coffin. It's ugly work, exhausting, but survival has no shortcuts. Tomorrow will bring lawyers and motions. Soon there will be a courtroom, strangers in a jury box, a judge with the power to weigh our evidence against their lies. Tonight, I whisper a vow into the dim room. My daughter will not become a statistic, not while I can still fight. The courthouse in downtown Tucson feels colder than the desert outside, even with the September heat pressing against the glass doors. Fluorescent lights buzz faintly overhead, humming like a warning. Our footsteps echo on polished linoleum as we're led into courtroom 3B. This isn't a barbecue park or a family kitchen. It's an arena where truth has to wear armor. Maya grips my hand, her palm damp, her face pale beneath the pixie cut that has grown from the patches Camille left behind. She's 18, but walking into this room makes her look both older and unbearably younger. Derek is on her other side, jaw tight, his suit jacket straining against shoulders locked with tension. I glance at him, remembering the parking lot audio clip that Logan's defense team is sure to wield like a knife. The prosecutor, a woman named Karen Ortiz, stacks our evidence neatly on the table. Hospital photos, police reports, Evan's witness statement, Jake's confession about the spiked drinks, and Camille's shaky park video. On the other side, Logan sits beside his father, Marshall, who looks immaculate in a navy suit. Logan's smirk is gone, though. His hands fidget in his lap, fingers twitching against each other like they're trying to crawl away. The jury files in. 12 strangers with guarded faces. Some glance at Maya with sympathy. Others keep their expressions locked down. When the judge, a silver-haired woman with steel eyes, enters, silence settles like dust in the desert. Court is in session, she says. Karen begins with calm precision, outlining months of abuse, escalating control, bruises hidden under clothes, and a near miss with sedatives. She plays the audio from my phone, Logan's midnight tirade at our door, and then Camille's video of him bragging at the park. The jurors lean forward, brows furrowed. Marshall rises, his voice silk over steel. He paints Logan as a misunderstood teenager, a young man vilified for typical relationship drama. He insists Maya's bruises came from sports injuries and clumsy accidents. He plays Derek's parking lot audio, Derek's growl reverberating through the courtroom like thunder. "This is not a boy abusing a girl," Marshall insists. "This is a family obsessed with destroying one." His words are sharp, rehearsed, dangerous. Then it's Maya's turn. She walks to the witness stand, each step heavy but unbroken. Her voice wavers at first but strengthens as she speaks. She describes the isolation, friends cut off, clothes dictated, nights spent afraid of saying the wrong thing. She recounts the grip of his hands, the way he pressed her against lockers, the threats whispered at dances. The room grows still, the jurors' pens slowing, eyes fixed on her. Karen asks gently, "Why didn't you tell your parents sooner?" Maya swallows hard. "Because he said no one would believe me, because he said I'd lose everything if I did." She glances at me then, and I nod through the tears I've held back for weeks. When Camille testifies, the courtroom shifts again. She admits to shaving Maya's head, explaining it as a desperate act after overhearing Logan's plan to drug her at the party. Gasps ripple when she plays her recording of his boast. The judge rules it admissible public setting, no expectation of privacy. Logan's face drains of color, his bravado stripped bare. The prosecutor closes with the pills, confirmed as sedatives. Detective Nguyen testifies about the lab results, about Jake's cooperation, about a timeline that stitches Logan's intent together too tightly to unravel. The defense sputters. They argue misunderstandings, overreactions, parental hysteria. But the hollow ring of denial can't compete with bruises, confessions, and videos. Hours later, after 3 tense deliberating hours, the jury files back in. The foreman stands, voice steady. We find the defendant guilty on all counts: assault, conspiracy to cause harm, and possession of controlled substances. Relief floods my chest, so sharp it's almost painful. Maya squeezes my hand, her eyes shining with tears she doesn't hide. Marshall's face reddens, fury barely contained, while Logan slumps in his chair, the reality finally clawing through. The judge sets sentencing for the following week, warning Logan to expect juvenile detention. Outside in the courthouse lot, Ruth and Camille wait. Ruth's hands twist together, her face lined with desperation. "Please, Aaron, forgive her. Camille only wanted to protect." Camille stands behind her, silent, eyes cast down. "But forgiveness feels like a luxury we can't afford. Your secrets cost us too much," I tell them, my voice cold. "We're finished." I turn away, Maya beside me, Derek just behind. The desert air outside is warm, but for the first time in months, I feel something like clarity. We walk toward the car, away from the courthouse, away from secrets, away from everything that tried to silence my daughter's voice. Logan is sentenced to 2 years in juvenile detention, plus probation and counseling. The Price family's name begins to crumble in Tucson. Marshall's law firm loses clients, neighbors whisper. At home, our focus narrows to healing. Maya starts therapy, her sketches blooming with desert colors, each line bolder than the last. Derek and I join her sessions, learning to listen without judgment. One evening, at Evan's flower shop anniversary, Maya laughs with friends from art club, her pixie cut shining in the light. I watch, realizing survival has turned into strength. Family, I finally know, is who stays.